Rajesh Tilak. In today's episode of In Conversation with Tibettv, we have the director of Tibet Museum, Tenzin Topdhen. We are going to discuss about the ongoing Mapping Tibet exhibition at the Tibet Museum and other upcoming projects of the museum. Welcome to our program, Topdhen.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so Topdhen, to start with, can you please take us through introduction on Tibet Museum and how important is temporary exhibition in disseminating information for museum and DIR?
Yeah, to tell you brief about the Tibet Museum, it was initially conceptualized in year 1998 by the Department of Information and International Relations, and after rigorous concept briefing and research, finally in year 2000 in the month of April 30th, the great His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama inaugurated the Tibet Museum, which is at the vicinity of the Thekchen Choling Tsuklakang. And after that, in year 2022, in the month of February, 9th of February, we have bigger and better, the Tibet Museum at the seat of Central Tibetan Administration, that is Kangchen Kishong, which was inaugurated by the current president, the Sikyong Pempa Siringla. And the core objective and the aim of this museum is primarily to preserve, research, innovate, document, and educate and exhibit both to non-Tibetan and Tibetan about the rich history of Tibet and also the existing struggle and situation inside Tibet, and also about the future aspiration and hope of the Tibet to entire sentient being, And to talk about the administrative structure of the Tibet Museum, the Tibet Museum is broadly categorized or subcategorized or subsection into three main buckets. First one is the collection section, where we tend to collect all the artifacts, be it image, be it testimonies. There is a section which deals with the collection. And then follows the conservation part, which is more to do with the museum per se. So whatever we collect, we make sure that it is conserved at the right optimum temperature, optimum humidity, with the use of modern technology like dehumidifier and air condition. And the final one is the connection, where almost 65 to 70% of our staff energy and the manpower is utilized. So underneath the connection, we have further three more major division. One is the temporary exhibition, which we were talking about, which we are right now talking about. Another one is the traveling exhibition, and the third one is the Tibet Awareness Talk series. So as far as the temporary exhibition importance, it is one of the most important vehicle to make sure that your connection to the Tibetan diaspora as well as non-Tibetan is kept alive through the showcase of the temporary exhibition.
What is the core objective of the current temporary exhibition and why is it chosen?
Okay, that's very important because we took around 1.5 years in terms of research and developing this temporary exhibition. It was a long process. And the objective of this temporary exhibition, that is Mapping Tibet, is there are a lot of objectives, but if I culminate them into the three main objectives, the first one is definitely to decolonize and debunk the grand narrative of People's Republic of China. The Chinese propaganda machinery is very fast and very high. So we need to come up with our own version of the truth version of the Tibet, be it a map way, be it the other mediums. And the second one is since we are in the digital era, the mapping and the geographic information system has bloomed anything like after the post digitization. So with the help of this era, we want to make sure that the Tibetan diaspora will understand the mapping technique more detailed. So that's why we have 4 days of workshop. And the final one is, being a museum, we want to archive whatever resources pertaining to the map. So in the process of 18 months, we have been very fortunate to have a lot of maps from the international as well as around the Dharamsala, and we were thinking of archiving it in best form.
And can you kindly explain brief structure of the Mapping Tibet exhibition and how it helped in navigating the history through rare collection of maps that you see now?
Yeah, so the current exhibition that we have displayed here is categorized into 4 main sections. So it started from the late 17th century, and that's how the content developer Tsirumange Shawala took. The reason behind is, from the late 17th century onward, the actual mapping of the country start throughout the world, be it Europe, be it Asia. So from there onward, the Tibet as a country start emerging. So that's why we took from the late 17th century onward our exhibition start. And the other unique thing about this first section is there are a lot of Christian missionaries or Jesuits which were crisscrossing across the Asia and Europe. So they were the one who were mapping boundaries. So if I give you example, in the Gugye kingdom there is a capital city which is called Tsaparang. In 1626 we found the first church located at the Tsaparang. So that gives the sense how the Christian missionaries were very active in these places. And then the second section talks about the 1904 till to 1918. So that section is primarily because the young husband expedition to the Tibet occurred at 1904, and through their expedition they have mapped the places around Yarlung Tsangpo, and we have shown one of them. And another part is we have shown the famous Shimla Convention Agreement. So we try to show the 8 months of vigorous the convention meeting through the 5 map that we displayed there. And then the third section talks about post 1950s onward, what is the the map, the history of the map. So it was primarily to do with the exile government, how they come up with their the true version of Tibet as a map. So they ask and research all the elders what are the places, name of the places, name of the geography, and then finally in 1981 we have standardized the Tibet boundaries, so which was officially displayed or distributed by the Department of Information and International Relations. And the final section is on the Lhasa as a capital city. So these are the 4 main sections if one visitor visit the museum.
And clearly there's a lot of research put into this exhibition, and also there need to be accuracy of the names and the places, everything put together, right? So how do you describe Tibet's independence visually when people go and visit the museum through the maps of Tibet over the time?
Okay, so that is a very difficult question, and I don't think I'm the right person to really talk about that. But in terms of research, I think for our last 18 months we had done a lot of field research, primarily field research. We went across the NGOs as well as the Tibetan department, the governmental departments, like the Department of Security, like the the library, and as well as the Dalai Lama library and archive. So we found a lot of research material. We found some original map which were published, and that was very lucky that we have done that research, and finally we got those into our we got those to display in our museum. And to talk about the independent nature of Tibet through this exhibition, if I'll talk a little bit about that, it would be, I think, from 1913 October onward, where the Shimla the convention agreement was started. And there this is a tripartite agreement between Tibet, China and British India. So that clearly shows, Tibet was an independent nation, and it was, clear. There's a clear demarcation of the boundaries, and for after that till June 1914, there was like 8 months of discussion. So primarily on the discussion of the boundaries of Tibet and China, where Chinese try to push the boundaries to the inner side of the Tibet. So that means these two countries were separate. I think that is one way to say, visually we have shown that. Another way is if you look at the officially published DIR 1981 map, that itself is not an easy map. There were two ex staff who went across all the Tibetan exile community and asked their the name of the places, and through that they have come up with the Tibet like geographic map. So that also is the another way to say that Tibet has been independent nation.
So since it will be on display for 2 months, what are the other initiatives in the pipeline on mapping Tibet?
Yeah, so from the beginning we were very clear, this cannot be done only for the 2 month of temporary exhibition. So, so after this 2 month of temporary exhibition, which will last till the end of September, we are simultaneously planning to make a book on the mapping Tibet, primarily taking the all the materials that we have displayed, maybe 80% of that, and 20% we will try to put some other maps that is important that we missed here. And another thing is we have already made this temporary exhibition virtually alive. So anyone can go on virtual tour of the temporary exhibition. So he or she can immersely go inside and see the inch of the display and read inch of the map as well. And also we were thinking of converting a few of them into the 2024 calendar as well. So these are the few things that we have planned as of now.
And according to you, what is the best artifacts that is displayed in this temporary exhibition as per your curation, and what is the major takeaway from all this process?
Okay, so if I talk about the one key artifact which strike my mind is the map which was made by the ex-army Ngawang Tongmela. He had made well crafted, and I don't know about the positioning of the places, but visually it is very appealing. It's a kind of layer over layer. It's a kind of 3D map which we displayed at the beginning itself. So that stands out very strongly, and he made it in 1981. Taking the the standard of the DIR 1981 published map. So one can imagine how much of work that he put inside to come up with this kind of map. And that's, I think, also if I look at the visitor experience and visitor behavior, most of the people were amazed with the beginning map that we have displayed. And the key takeaway is, so it's now been 10 days since we inaugurated the exhibition, and what I heard from the reception is that there are a lot of people who are revisiting the museum again, not because of the 10 themes, but because of the mapping Tibet. So mapping Tibet to some extent has successful, so through the media. There are a lot of youngsters, primarily the youngsters, the teenage and the college going. They purposely come to the museum and asking the reception, where is the mapping Tibet exhibition? So this is very encouraging for us, because whatever you do, if there is a reciprocal, feedback or reciprocal action from the visitor, that's very encouraging, not only to me but all of the staff. So that is the feedback as of now.
Topdhen, these are my questions for today, and thank you so much for giving us your time. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you for having me here.
With this, we have come to the end of today's In Conversation with Tibettv. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.